Hey, welcome to Two Old Geeks. I'm Rob,
I'm Trace.
and today we'll be discussing Highlander.
All right, man. I love that movie.
I loved the first movie.
Yes, the first movie. That's why I said the movie.
Movie.
When's the first time you saw it?
Of course, we were younger, and I didn't get to see it like in theater, so I guess it was, first time I seen it was when it was aired, probably on the televisions.
Yeah, it was come out in 1986, and I think it was like 87 that I saw it. It was on television. It was like Sunday, rainy afternoon, kind of like today, and I was just flipping stations, and I saw these guys fighting with swords in a car parking lot.
Right.
And I thought, well, that's odd. And so I watched it, and I was just like fell in love with it. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Well, so the movie was directed by Russell. Now, correct me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Mulcahy, whatever it's.
Yeah, I think it's it. Yeah,
Mulcahy. But the thing is throughout time, and they've had up to 6 different directors. The production company, there was 12 different production companies. You know how you see movies say, hey, this is from 20th Century Fox in association with, or Disney with association from Pixar.
Yeah.
Right? They're working together. Well, this has had 12 different freaking production companies working with it. There's so many things. Okay, if you're a fan, you're a fan. You're a fan of this movie.
Oh yeah, it's great fantasy movie.
But there is so many reasons why this movie should not have succeeded, in my opinion.
Right. Well, you could almost argue that it succeeded after the fact. It didn't succeed when it was out at theaters.
Right.
You got the movie poster, right? You want to show them the movie poster?
Okay, so one of the reasons it didn't succeed was because it was originally made in European countries for like England and France and things like that, and they had a beautiful colored movie poster. This is the movie poster that they used here in the U.S. That is creepy as all get out.
Right.
I mean, that would give young people nightmares.
Well, I mean, they say you can't judge a book by its cover, and
Okay.
and maybe you can't judge a movie by its movie poster, but to pick a book off the shelf,
Right.
for those of you that still read books, the cover does matter, and to see a movie poster, especially back in the 80s, movie poster, I can't look at that poster and tell anything about that movie, and that's not a good thing.
Unless you read the top of it. It says he found his first battle in Scotland in the Highlands in 1536. He will fight his greatest battle on the streets of New York City in 1986. His name is Connor MacLeod. He is immortal, and that's all it says on there. But then it has this creepy black and white picture, no color, no nothing, and this is what they tried to advertise in the U.S.
Yeah, I think it only made. I think it was like 19 million is what it made.
No. 19 million is what they got to make the movie.
Oh, okay.
What it actually made was only $12.5 million. They did not even make their money back with this movie.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
No,
But having said that, after the fact, they probably made it.
Because
it's a cult classic.
It's a cult classic, right? And that's what that's what has kept it alive, is because of nerds like us, geeks like us.
Yeah.
We fall in love with something, we run with it, right?
Right.
Well, as it started picking up popularity, they decided to pick up the franchise like a ketchup bottle and just beat every little freaking drop they could out of the base of it. Now, before we get too far ahead into how they've molested.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it, talk about it. You can talk about it, I don't want to think about it. That's nasty.
Okay, so the movie starred Christopher Lambert.
Yeah.
Sean Connery, Clancy Brown, and Roxanne Hart. Now, Sean Connery played Juan Salvador Villalobos Ramirez.
Yeah, I like Sean. That was one of the first times that Sean Connery had did the mentor role, And they say
Right.
they say he filmed his scenes like in 3 days, and he was out of there. But
He got 1 week of filming.
that was
That's
it.
what he was. They asked him to be in the movie, and that's what he said. I'll give you a week.
Well, you know, he had a little age on him at the time. I mean, you look back on him now, he looks young, but he was a man of a certain age when it first come out. But that was really his first mentor role, and then a lot of his movies he'd done after that, he did play the mentor role. But that was really the first time he saw Sean Connery as a mentor. And I love Sean Connery. I'm surprised you didn't because you do a pretty good Sean Connery. You didn't rattle off
The whole beginning.
the beginning of it. Yeah.
How they got through the centuries, down through the centuries we came.
Yeah.
Moving quietly and silently.
Yeah. I heard he recorded that in the bathroom.
Yeah, they asked him, "We need you to read this," and apparently he'd been working with a voice coach to help him learn how to do a Spanish accent. Could you really tell that, right? So he called him up in his bathroom in Spain. He had a house in Spain, and it was echoing off the tiles, and that's what they ran with.
Isn't that crazy?
Because,
Just think about Sean Connery sitting on the toilet saying that.
Down through the centuries we came.
changes the whole movie, yeah.
Right. But it's not just that. It's, first of all, they asked him if he could train with his swords. You know, we're doing sword. No, I don't need to do that. I'm Sean Connery. So what he failed to realize is the actor he was working with, Christopher Lambert, has myopathy or some kind of eye problem. He's legally blind.
Yeah.
And he got hurt because he can't tell no depth perception. He literally would be coming over the hillside riding on a horse, and right before he got to the hill of the crest, he had to take his glasses off and tuck in his kilt or whatever.
You got to admire Christopher Lambert, who played Connor McLeod.
Connor McLeod,
Who
right.
played Connor McLeod. And that, number one, he couldn't see. Number two, he didn't know hardly any English.
Any English.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, and, well, it must have been a heck of a interview whenever he went in for that movie. Can you see? Yeah, I can see. Can you speak English?
Can you sit on a horse?
Yeah.
Can you swing a sword?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. Okay. So those are things that was working against him. One, you barely had Sean with you. Two, your main actor is blind and can't speak English. Let's see. You had a Frenchman playing a Scotsman. You had a Scotsman playing an Egyptian.
Yeah.
You had
That's acting.
acting. Brilliant. Thank you. Let's see. And did you hear about the extras? So they were recording in Scotland, and they were being so cheap and so tight with their budget. And then we're talking about 1986. You know, you're thinking, oh, $19 million ain't a lot, but back in '86 it was a lot. Now you get $100 million, but back then that was about what they were spending on movies.
That was pretty good budget, yeah.
So they decided to not feed their extras. And one of the other directors, because they had so many of them, was like, dude, we're going to go tell Sean that you're not feeding these Scottish actors or extras. And they're like, what? Yeah, we're going to sick Sean on you. And they're like, no, don't do that. So he ended up feeding them breakfast for the day.
Oh, Sean Connery did?
No, not him. The director.
Oh, the director.
Decided,
Okay, yeah.
we'll have breakfast catered. But the work got so bad that they actually made, what's it called, an effigy of Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Since they were English, they figured they'd make a life-size mannequin of her. This is the extras. And set it on fire on set.
Because they were
they were so aggravated.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of work environment is that? There is nothing that happened during the filming of this movie that should have made this movie the success it turned out to be.
Yeah, but it was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
And I mean, I think Christopher Lambert did great. I think Sean Connery obviously did great. But like the bad guy, Clancy Brown,
Dude.
oh man,
They said that the cast was literally scared of him.
Yeah. I mean, he's, I mean, just that voice of his, like when that prostitute comes in the room and she's like, "Hi, I'm Candy." He's like, "Of course you are."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's just got that real
Happy
big
Halloween,
voice.
sisters,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, what gets me is that, I mean, he was so young in that movie, and he's still making movies. I mean, he's been on Shawshank's Redemption, and he does the voice of
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs. Man, how do you go from being the Kurgan to Mr. Krabs?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And so many things changed during the film of the movie. The original, or the last battle in the movie, was supposed to be on top of the Statue of Liberty, and they were like, "Nah, that's gonna cost too much. Well, let's make it on top of like some kind of famous bridge or something." "Nah, it's gonna. Can we use the top of that building over here?" "Yeah, that'll work." And it was what was it called? Star Cup.
Oh yeah, Silver Cup.
Silver Cup.
Yeah.
It was a production company.
Yeah. I love. First of all, I'm a big fan of Highlander, and I just recently rewatched it on Blu-ray, and so it was nice seeing it and nice clear. And I hadn't watched it in like 15 years.
Right.
And it's interesting because it still holds up today. And but I was always a big fan of Queen music when I was in high school.
Right.
You know, Another One Bites the Dust, that whole album. So there never was an official soundtrack of Highlander, but Queen come out with It's Kind of Magic, and on that CD, and that means compact disc for those of you that wasn't born in the 80s. It had, you know, most of the main songs in there. You know, Who Wants to Live Forever, which is like one of the few slow songs that Queen ever did. Give Me the Prize, which is Kurgan's theme. Princes of the Universe, which is the opening theme. So yeah, it's their music. I mean, Queen's music's so good. And let me tell you how
that was the quintessential goodness of that movie. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
And I am a major fan of the movie, and I don't mean to be poo-pooing on it, but I am so surprised it turned out as well as it did. But Queen was like the cherry on top of your sundae.
I mean, Freddie Mercury, even in the video of Princes of the Universe, they had Christopher Lambert have like a little mini sword fight with Freddie Mercury. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a fan of the movie, you definitely need to check that out. But to tell you how naive I was about Queen at the time, you know, I didn't even know, you know, when I was in high school, I didn't even know Freddie Mercury was gay.
Right.
I mean, you know,
well, back then it didn't matter.
No, well, yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah, but you should be able to tell from 100 feet away. But yeah, I didn't realize that until I got a little bit older. But man, that guy could sing.
Right.
I mean, unbelievable. I mean, every song was like, if you listen to Prince's Universe or Bohemian Rhapsody or any of the Queen songs, because I'm a huge Queen fan, and even the name Queen should have been a tip-off. But they're all like little mini operas. You know, the songs are fantastic. But like you said, that right there really pushed that movie, which could have been just a B movie, into cult status. I think Queen really made the movie.
And they kind of took it and run because they were only asked to do that one song, The Princes of the Universe. They were asked to do that one song. And as they were looking through clips, there was that line, you know, it's kind of a magic.
Yeah.
And so they was like, oh, that's good. And they made another song. Now, the only song that you don't have on there, and that's not on any kind of recording, that was in the song by Queen, is they did a rendition of New York.
Yeah, that was when they was doing like a car chase.
Right.
Yeah, he was riding
and
through traffic.
Freddie Krueger wasn't, or Freddie Mercury. I'm sorry, Freddie Krueger. Who's Freddie Krueger? That's
he's the guy with claws. Yeah.
Freddie Mercury wasn't. Sorry, too much. He wasn't happy with his rendition of it, so he said, "I'll never put that out on a CD or an album or anything."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, if you want to hear it, you can only hear like I think 49 seconds of it in the movie itself.
It was good though. He did a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, he could sing "Happy Birthday" and make it good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was awesome. Now, like I said, then several years passed and they came out with Highlander 2.
I'd let you talk about that. There's certain things that like Highlander 2 and 3 and 4 and all those, you know, to me they're like a car wreck.
Yeah.
You know, so you're driving down the highway 127, and you look and you see a horrific car wreck.
Right.
And you glance one time, well, you know, that's normal human nature.
Right.
But if you glance the second time, you know, I mean, to me, there's just certain things. Like, for instance, I'm a big Conan fan. I love the first Conan, but I would never watch Conan the Destroyer again, the sequel, because it's so bad. The sequels to Highlander, which Highlander is an awesome movie.
Right.
I would never watch those again. I mean, the farther they get in my memory, the less I can think about them. And unfortunately, you're going to probably bring them up again. But just so go ahead and talk about them, brother, because and I'll just be over here going la 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 la.
Somebody's got to. I mean, I have to. I'm sorry, I have to. It's because it was such a smudge or smurge or however you want to pronounce that on the face of what was a good movie. Okay, so here's what I don't understand. There can only be one. The phrase, there can only be one. You gotta say it really weird because that's the way he said it. When it came to the end of the movie, of the first movie, he was the last. He killed the Kurgan. You gained all his knowledge and all his power. And they were the two strongest, and it was the end. And that should have been the end. But no, they milked it into another movie. And they changed the whole premise of the movie by having them come from space.
La 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 la.
I won't get into no depths or anything like that, but they ended up bringing Connery back, which this time they actually probably had enough money to spend to have him in there longer. And the money they should have spent on the first movie, they probably spent on the second movie, and they shouldn't have even spent it on the second movie. That's all I'm going to say about the second movie. It sucked. It sucked. Oh. It changed the whole premise of the movie.
Don't watch it.
It turned it into a mystical, magical.
It went from magic. It went from like fantasy to sci-fi. Yeah,
and they could not let that go. Yeah. They could not let it go, and they ringed it. So then they did a Highlander 3, and then they did Highlander the Source and Highlander Endgame, which was come from the television series.
Yeah, right. Now I was a fan of the television series.
See, I had got raked over the coals by so many other Highlander flops and screw-ups and jerk-offs that I could not even fathom watching the series.
Yeah, the Highlander series was good. Now, you got to realize the Highlander series, you had Hercules going on at the same time, and Xena going on at the same time, and so Highlanders like that. It's not like the Highlander the series isn't the best thing in the world, but they really kind of they really expanded on the universe. They forgot all about the alien crap that they come up with in seasons.
Right.
I mean, in the sequels, and a guy named Adrian Paul, who played Duncan MacLeod.
Good-looking gentleman.
Yeah. And I actually met him. I met him at a hotel in Lexington. Okay. He was taking his photographs, and I'm like, it was at a Comic-Con, and I was like, I told my wife Teresa, I was like, dude, I said, Dudette, that's like, that's like Adrian Paul over there, and she's like, Adrian who? And I'm like, who? Just go with me. So I went over and I talked to him for a bit, and he was a real nice guy. And I mean, the guy's not immortal because, you know, that doesn't happen. But dude, he looks exactly the same as he did back in the 90s when he did that. Plus he does this whole sword experience where he goes to Comic-Cons and he trains you for like 3 hours on how to use a sword, because he worked with Bob Anderson, one of the greatest swords masters in Hollywood. And the series it's fun to watch. I'm not going to say it's good, but it's fun to watch. But it did expand the whole Highlander.
And they had a spinoff from that series.
Yeah, Raven.
Yeah.
And
but it was short-lived, right?
Yeah. It was female lead, and it had come out right about that time. She just lit with Bill Clinton, and so. So
I heard about that.
They weren't real popular, but The Highlander series lasted for about 6 seasons, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I mean, the first season's rough, kind of like the first seasons of Next Generation, but it kept getting better and better, and it's worth watching. First of all, they had tons of rock star for some reason, rock star guest stars, Joan Jett, Sheena Easton. The lead singer of The Who.
Didn't they have Johnny Piper or
Roddy Piper, and I mean, so they had all these wild guest stars, and like I said, it was pretty well written, and it kind of expanded the Highlander universe a little bit. So I like Highlander, the first film, like the series, sequels, like a pile of poo.
It got worse.
Yeah, tell me more.
Okay, so then they come out. Japan decided to do a Highlander anime.
Never seen it.
Never seen it either. But I heard it got good reviews. I wouldn't watch it because, like I said, I was a scorned lover. So then they come out with a Saturday morning cartoon called Highlander.
I actually watched that.
It had Quentin MacLeod.
Yes.
And they brought back Juan Ramirez.
Yes, it was bad too. I watched it.
Yeah, I heard it was bad. Yeah. But it wasn't bad enough that they didn't try to make a video game after that cartoon.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and here was the action. That was what the character did, was this here.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the only video game that come from Highlander.
And see, Highlander would be a great video game if it was done right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it was done right.
Yeah.
Especially with nowadays graphics and things like that.
Did you know?
But don't give them no ideas. They don't need.
No. Did you know they're actually going to redo Highlander, remake it? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, but don't feel bad about it, because you know what's his name? The guy that did John Wick. I can't. His name's
the stunt guy.
Yeah, it's the stunt guy. His name's eluding me right now. But anyway, he's getting ready to redo Highlander. And first of all, he's an action director. So you know how good John Wick was. He just got through doing Nobody, which if you guys haven't seen that, there's something wrong with you. It's a fantastic movie. So he's getting ready to do Highlander, and what is that guy's name? But anyway, we don't edit here, so I won't sit here and think 5 minutes trying to think of it. But if anybody can redo it, he will. So it'd be really interesting to see who plays Connor MacLeod, who plays Kurgan, who plays.
So you're thinking
they're just going to redo the original.
So you think they're just going to keep the same characters, just new actors?
And this guy's an action director, so he'll do a fantastic job, I promise you. Did you know that our brother, Matthew, our other brother, and we have one other brother, is that he named his son after Connor MacLeod. I mean, one of his sons is named Connor.
Right, but I figured it was just because it was a Scottish-Irish name.
No. He was a huge Highlander fan, and he told us even when he was little that he was going to name one of his kids Connor.
I knew he was a fan of the Queen song, Who Wants to Live Forever.
Yeah. So he actually named one of his sons. So we have a nephew named Connor. So we'll let that. He should have named his other son Duncan. That would have been good. It goes along with the TV series. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
No, you're okay. You're right. Let's see. I was trying to figure out where I was going to go next. We did the video games.
The animated series.
Oh, and so they're supposed to be coming out in August, and then they've pre-ordered a lot of these toys. There's supposed to be a Highlander toys coming out.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
From the original movie?
From the original movie. And it's supposed to be Connor MacLeod and the Kurgan.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's him in his leather outfit, but he also comes with his big skull helmet that fits on top of it.
Yeah, NECA, who made some Lord of the Rings figures I have, they have an old Highlander set that's got Conor McGregor in a Scottish kilt, and then Kurgan with the whole helmet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you ever look that up online, it looks pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah. It was back when they first started making figures, and they're not real posable. They're more like statues.
Right.
But yeah, if you check those out, they're pretty awesome.
Now, I'm trying to look up other merchandise. Apparently, you had better luck finding merchandise.
Yeah, I mean, back in the '90s during the series, and I was a huge fan of the series. They actually come out with a line of merchandise, and this jacket is actually from Highlander. It's actually a Highlander jacket.
That's cool.
I bought it years ago. I usually wear it on Easter, or I might wear it at formal events or funerals or something like that with a suit. But yeah, it's an actual Highlander jacket.
Did you ever had a sword in it?
I never have, but there's always the future.
Right.
And they even had a jury. They even had a whole jury line, and so. Like probably back in 1990, I started wearing Celtic bracelets because we're of Irish descent, and so one of the first Celtic bracelets that I bought was from the Highlander line. It's a cuff bracelet, and I stopped wearing it because, like all cuff bracelets, after a while, it gets a little split in it. And but it's made of sterling silver. But yeah, they actually had a clothing line, and those swords that. Connor's sword looked a little different than Duncan's sword from the series, but they were real popular as well.
I really would like to have, if I was going to get any, I'm kind of into props, I would like to have Ramirez's sword.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
And how did it look versus Duncan's? It was a
little thicker in the handle, but it was almost pretty much the same as Duncan's. There's a red stone on it.
Yeah.
Duncan's didn't have a red stone on it, and it's like positioned. From the way it looks, like where a screw might be or something.
Yeah. Do they even make such a thing? Do they make them?
Yeah, but they're hard to find.
Oh, okay.
I think there's one. I seen one, and actually the price wasn't really that bad. I think it was like $27 or something for.
That's not bad.
But it's not like a real sword. It's
That's
just like a replica.
Right.
I know the movie posters and stuff where people printed on shirts, I haven't really seen a whole lot of other merch. So that's all I have.
That's all you have? Who won? Let's see. First of all, our last video, we had a giveaway for, like we typically try to do, not on every video, but on most videos. We had a giveaway for some Lone Wolf and Cub films, and who won that?
The winner of it was Asian Film Fan 1.
Asian Film Fan 1. So,
congratulations.
More than likely, Asian Film Fan 1 probably has Lone Wolf and Cub on.
I'd say so.
But you'll still get them, and you can give them to somebody that is not a fan of Lone Wolf and Cub and spread that love. So today we're going to be giving away this box set here. It's Highlander, the Immortal edition, and it also includes a Queen companion CD. So it's got the trailers, the widescreen version of the film, still gallery, Queen music videos, Who Wants to Live Forever, A Kind of Magic, and Princes of the Universe. So if you comment and you like and you're a subscriber, then you get a chance to win this. So, hey, there you go. Anything else, brother?
No, I think I'm done.
All right, man, I think we're done.